Welcome to the afternoon session. As it says on the sheet, I'm Eric Sampson. Thank you for inviting me. I'm very pleased to be here. I'm finding it very rewarding being here because a number of people in the audience and speaking on the podium are from DfT, so they're paying my pension. Right, first session, DfT Policy Spotlight. We have, come on up. Yeah. John Cooper, Gareth Tilley, the floor is all yours, and there's your controls.
Oh, I've got to press it extra hard, I believe. My name's Gareth Tilley. I'm the Stakeholder Engagement Manager for D-TRO.
And I'm John Cooper from Digital Projects team. I'm the Product Owner for Department for Transport on Digital Traffic Regulation Orders. And first up, we'd like to show you a short film which explains all about the project.
Rules of the road are going digital. Traffic regulation orders are the legal rules that shape how we use roads. Things like speed limits, parking restrictions and one-way systems, essential for safety and flow. They've traditionally been paper-based and sitting in folders on shelves in highway authority offices, but they're now being digitised to become D-TROs.
We want to revolutionise traffic orders and bring it into the modern world, have open data available to data consumers to be able to share that information with citizens.
The D-TRO service brings all those rules together in one place, digitally, consistently and openly. It's about making road regulation work for the digital age and things like automated, also known as autonomous vehicles.
If you think about what's coming down the line in the cars, we've got autonomous vehicles, we've got connected vehicles. D-TRO would be another source of information into that car, information about speed limits, road closures, possible parking opportunities in the future.
The new D-TRO service is built on a centralised database with what's called an API-first approach. That means local authorities can publish directly through their existing software and developers can plug into the data in real time to deal with fast-changing transport requirements.
So whether it's for real-time routing or for the benefit of autonomous vehicles, we need an infrastructure system that can keep up with progress. So we use a digital-first approach because it gives us the flexibility and reliability to support that.
The team building the D-TRO solution have worked with a number of local authorities to test the concept and are now ready to move on to public beta testing across the country.
So public beta now is very much about opening the service up to everyone. All councils across England can join, meaning wider coverage and a much richer data set for data consumers. We're seeing everything from better sat-nav routing, smarter roadworks planning, to improving dispatching of emergency services.
The system isn't a top-down approach where authorities and data users get what they're given. It's been consistently improved by engaging with stakeholders and getting their feedback.
User research has been central from day one. We've worked with a wide range of user groups from local authorities and blue light services to well-known mapping and navigation companies to really understand their specific needs, pain points, and potential use cases. And that insight has directly shaped how the service works and will continue to do so.
The aim is to make digital road regulation the norm, not the exception. That means every local authority publishing digitally, every data consumer accessing it in real time, and every road user benefiting from clearer, more consistent rules.
The long-term vision for the future of the service is that we'll have a complete picture of the road network for England from the traffic orders. Initially, we'll only have new orders, but soon we'll start to bring in old orders and eventually have that full picture of England's road network. And there's also the potential for other nations to join as well and make it a service for the whole of Great Britain and Northern Ireland.
The D-TRO project isn't just a case of digitising old documents, it's creating infrastructure for a smarter, safer, more responsive transport system.
Hope you enjoyed that short video. We've been using it since our public beta launch, and this was on the 24th of September. So our service is open up to all the traffic regulation authorities, digital solution providers who are working with those TRAs to provide data into the service, and also it's open for anybody, even a member of the public who is interested, right up to large-scale data consumers and digital map services and all these other companies that we know are interested in the data. So the good news is public beta launch has gone really well, and I'd like to just run now through a few of the headline figures on what it's meant in terms of the numbers of authorities that are engaging, the numbers of orders being sent into the service, and just a word about how we expect the service to eventually end up when we get something approaching all of the orders in England in. So this slide shows the difference between the private beta, which had run since about a year ago, until the public beta started about 6 weeks ago. You'll see that on consumers, the number has roughly doubled, and on publishers, it's even more than that, it's about 5 times as high. This manifests itself in an increase in the number of orders being published into the service. We're an API-first service, as it said in the video. So this is all published machine to machine, orders is coded, they can then be extracted by the consumers. The difference in the numbers is quite dramatic. Would like to just give a summary also on how many different authorities have been sending in. We've had 85 different TRAs have submitted at least one order to the service. That's, we estimate, more than half of all the TRAs that exist. Roughly broken down, that 85, we've had 9 from London, 11 metropolitans, 20 counties, which is nearly all the counties, and everyone else, the unitaries and other types of traffic regulation authority, 45. So that's quite a good distribution of all the different types of authorities that are out there. Just on people that are accessing the data, you'll see that we've roughly doubled in the number of requests being made to the service by the data consumers as a result of going into public beta. It's, as I say, open to anybody to come along, request the data, ingest it into their own systems, and use it as they wish. They can merge it with other data sets and go on to bigger and greater things. So what does all this mean in terms of the actual numbers we are getting month to month? So up until the end of October, which takes in a few days of September when we were in public beta, you'll see that we were getting a large step up as we went into public beta. We had to do these slides ahead of time and do our calculations, but we made an estimate that by the end of November, we would be getting an extra like 20,000 orders just in that month. But actually, we got 20,000 orders just by the 3rd of November. So we've already hit the estimate that we made for the whole of November. This is borne out in the curve of the total number of orders that are in the service. We got to about 30,000 at the end of October, and we'd estimated that we'd get to 50,000 by the end of this month. But we hit that figure yesterday morning. So we are ahead, the service is going well, and it's back to Gareth, who's going to explain a bit more about how we've been running the project and our various different engagement methods. So thank you.
Thanks, John. I just wanted to run through the stakeholder engagement we're doing. So if people do want to get involved and find out more information about D-TRO, these are some of the channels we've been using. The first thing I wanted to call out was as part of private beta, which we ran for around a year, we've done an awful lot of user research to iterate the service and improve the service while we're doing the scaling. So that was very much around the data model, but also kind of use and what people what information people would find most valuable. So we've done a lot of work on use cases there. So I'd just like to thank everyone who was involved in that user research. It was really helpful for us. A key channel for us is our GitHub page. So we've got our data specification on there, which includes the data model. It's got example files. It's got the JSON schema. It's also got an open issues board. So if anyone's got any dev questions on the data model or how this service has been set up, it's totally open. People can put a question on the channel. We will look to answer that as promptly as we can. Equally, if someone's also faced that problem, they can see like the whole message set. So it's a totally open way of communicating with the dev community primarily. It being an API first service, that's a kind of big part of our audience there. With the launch to public beta, we've now got a .gov.uk page. So that's our landing page for the service. So if you do want to create an account and set up an app, then you go to that. It's a really smooth onboarding process now. So that's both for people who want to publish to the service and for data consumers as well. And we're, as John showed, seeing a really big uptake in use of the service over the last month. The other key channel for us in terms of outreach has been our webinars. So we have them around every kind of month to 6 weeks. And they've got two varieties. So we've got a general webinar for everyone to participate in. And we're getting up to 300 people attend our webinars. And we've also got technical webinars as well with a focus on change the data model or the API service and how we're arranging that. So we've got two channels with the webinars. All of those, they're recorded and they go onto our YouTube playlist. So the video you just saw, we've got kind of bite-sized videos, we've got guidance videos, and all the webinar videos are all on our YouTube playlist. They're all accessible for people to watch in their own time, basically. Finally, we've got a couple of other things. So we've got the Transport Technology Forum page, which I'm sure a lot of you people are aware of. That's also got a YouTube playlist on. But it's got our FAQ guidance documentation, so that's very much open, mainly local authority focus, as you can imagine. All the information that local authorities will need is there. We've got a mailing list. And then finally, obviously, we're doing conferences as well. So it's a great way for us to engage and hear feedback on the service. And we've had some really good conversations today. So thank you, everyone, for giving us that information. And thank you for listening.
Yeah, thank you. I think we've got time to take some questions if any of you would like to ask anything.
So it's all on the YouTube playlist, clearly, you know. Feels like there's no questions.
Oh, there's one here.
One there? Okay.
I just wanted to know if there was any progress in terms of the deadline for local authorities in terms of when they would be required to submit their D-TROs.
Yeah, thanks a lot for that question. We get that one quite a lot. It's not entirely in our control. In fact, really none of that side of the legislative part is within our control. But and we can't really say much on when that date will be, or even when there will be a date when you will be told about a date. It is also so much tied up with the policy side, legal advisors, even into other government departments, all linking up and getting agreement on when to go. So suffice to say that when it is agreed that they can go ahead, there will be draft regulations laid before Parliament, the secondary legislation, which forms the kind of the second part of that legislative process. We have the Act from May 2024, but it does need that secondary legislation. We're as keen as you to get it all put together and released as a package, and there will be announcements made when we know how it's going to go. Sorry, we can't say any more than that at the moment.
Yeah, as soon as we know, we will tell everyone, trust us. Yeah.
Paul?
Hi, thanks. I wonder if you could just comment on maybe think about the risks and opportunities that are coming from devolution and local government reorganisation and the effect that may well have on preservation, transfer and digitisation of the legacy orders.
Yes, well, we have provision for that sort of thing in the data specification. Each order has a creator, but it also has a current owner. So therefore, there's a facility for orders to transfer either between authorities or to a new authority that is created, and there would be facility for orders to have elements taken out of them and rebuilt into other orders. Also, maybe it's worth a shout out at this point that it's for England, as Paul said in the video, but we are open to colleagues in the devolved administrations eventually joining in and using the service for orders in other parts of the UK. Does that answer your question, Paul?
Obviously, we work together on this. And I'd just like to say in front of everybody, well done for getting so far, because it's a heck of a project you've taken on. What I'd like to just have clarity on is those authorities that haven't engaged with you yet, because they've not even thought of digitising. In fact, we've told you before, some of them think a PDF is a digital TRO. For those who've not come forward yet, is there going to be any funding available across those authorities who really haven't got a clue what digitising is all about?
Yeah, sorry if we sound saying the same thing. That whole funding process by a thing called the New Burdens process is being considered. It's also wrapped up in the same policy, legal and cross-departmental right rounds and everything. It is being worked on. There isn't anything that we can say about the likelihood or the amount of any funding that may be forthcoming as a result of that process, but it is being looked at.
Just picking up on the issue of the authorities, when you say that an authority is engaged in the public beta, is that because the authority has actively done that, or is it because of the software that they're using automatically engages?
Well, it's possible to send data to the service by really any means. If you're capable of coding the data, you could send it in yourself. We know that lots of authorities use the digital solution providers to provide services on their behalf, but we also maintain that it's possible to develop a more like a DIY solution and send that data in too.
So I suppose my question is, like in the numbers you presented, is that engagement mostly coming through the software products that will exist rather than people hacking an API?
Yeah, of the data that has been submitted so far, the vast majority of it will have been done through solution providers. In fact, one of the benefits of going into public beta was that we, by dealing with the digital solution providers ahead of time, we got knowledge of who they could potentially bring in public beta, and sure enough, we saw that big uptick when the taps were turned on, with the promise of more to come. And then what we anticipate is there may very well be authorities holding back because of the date problem, that not knowing when the legal situation will change. That is a problem for some of those authorities, and there isn't really much we can do about it on the project. We just maintain that it's better to get involved as soon as possible, at least try and work out the method that you intend to use. You can always publish to our integration production rather than production environment. So basically to practice, it's like a sandbox, and you don't have to get involved in sending in real TROs. The production environment for those. If you've got any questions about or worries about joining in, then please do get in touch. We'd like to help everybody that's going to come in. Thank you.
Tiny problem. Matt Coleman's slides have arrived, but he hasn't. So I'll jump straight to Martin, invite him to come down and give his talk.
Right, thank you everyone. Thanks for having me. So I'm going to be giving an update on the National Parking Platform. So hopefully everyone will have heard of the MPP, but for those that haven't, or as a recap, MPP is an agnostic platform designed to simplify parking for everyone. It combines various parking services and technologies for a seamless experience. It operates behind existing parking apps and not as a standalone app in itself. There's also already wide coverage across UK car parks and on-street parking. Crucially, drivers can use their favourite parking apps at any participating car park. So back in May earlier this year, Lillian Greenwood announced the grant transfer of the MPP to a not-for-profit organisation, stating that more drivers can use their favourite app in any car park at no extra cost to taxpayers, and thanking the British Parking Association and the parking sector for their engagement, meaning simpler parking that puts people over profits. So there's some strict terms and conditions in place from the DfT for the transfer of the MPP, so mainly around to operate on a financially sustainable, not-for-profit basis to ensure transparency and collaboration in the commercial model, to make MPP available to all parking operators and app providers, and that assets must only be used for defined activities and not disposed of without consent, as well as, of course, compliance with all legal obligations, and indeed to provide quarterly reports to DfT. So now, hopefully, as a bit of light relief, I've conducted a bit of user research with the help of Channel 4's Gogglebox. So I'm not sure if people here watch Gogglebox. I did slightly wonder whether Gogglebox might be slightly perhaps a little bit too lowbrow for this TTF crowd. But anyway, for those that don't know, Gogglebox shows a diverse cast of ordinary families and friends across the UK that filmed in their own living rooms while watching and reacting to the previous week's television programmes. So when watching a BBC news segment on parking, which highlighted that 3/4 of motorists have experienced problems while using a parking app, these two ladies from Leeds agreed with these common frustrations, saying, yeah, it's a right nightmare. No, I won't do the accent. It's a right nightmare. I must have about 7 different parking apps. So the segment went on to describe a life-shortening tedium of trying to pay for parking, but clarified that the BPA are working with providers to make parking apps easier. When the proposition of the National Parking Platform as a new initiative was raised, allowing drivers to use their favourite parking apps at any participating car park, these two gentlemen in Wiltshire said, yeah, and I think that's a good thing. That's decent. These 3 gentlemen in Bristol loved the prospect of the MPP and referred to it as a glimmer of hope for the parking industry. And then finally, the stars of the show, in my opinion, Giles and Mary in their thatched cottage in Wiltshire. When Giles was told that the DfT support the MPP and have intentions to roll it out nationally, he said, oh, we're so grateful. So there you have it, folks. Brilliant insight there from the Goggleboxers, and indeed their support for the MPP. And as a colleague said to me, you know you've made it when the Goggleboxers are discussing it. So there we go. Right, well, that's enough of that. So born from a DfT initiative, now a public-private parking sector-led initiative supported by the BPA, the MPP's mission is to simplify parking for drivers, to connect parking systems, to improve customer experience, to support local transport goals, and to encourage innovation. So, to clarify the governance structure, MPP is now a company limited by guarantee. It's not for profit, with no shareholders, only members, and with a board of directors governing operations, ensuring transparency and accountability. So who can join? Local authorities, public and private parking operators, service providers, trade bodies and connected suppliers can all join. And the MPP has clear intentions to boost inclusivity and collaboration across the sector. Members can vote on key matters, approve policies and governance. Active participation and engagement is, of course, encouraged, and this helps to shape the direction of the MPP. Very quickly, just to explain the setup of the voting structure for important decisions, these are weighted at 25% for local authority operators, 25% for other public operators, 25% for service providers, 15% for private operators and 10% for others. And we believe this shows that MPP's balanced decision-making and representation. So, on the board, there's up to 9 directors, 3 operators, 3 service providers, 2 independents, and 1 from the BPA. And CEOs and specialists can join as needed. And indeed, hopefully this highlights the breadth of expertise and diversity of the board. So just to introduce you to the directors, we've got Andrew Pester from the BPA, Sarah Randall, who you heard from earlier, who's the interim CEO. We have Nigel Williams as an independent, Keith Williams as an expert, and representation from the 3 service providers, so Anthony Cashel, Anthony Eskenazi, and Chris Head from the 3 largest service providers. And we do hope to announce our 3 local authority directors very soon. And I can confirm that, so they come from Coventry City Council, Oxfordshire County Council, and the London Borough of Sutton. So, in terms of decision-making, so directors are, of course, there to act in the company's best interest. Major changes would require 75% member approval, so that should ensure broad consensus for any significant decisions. The MPP's committed around all profits being reinvested into the platform, that the governance is transparent and balanced, that the MPP is aligned with UK's smart mobility goals, and I also know that the MPP is currently working on its social value policy in line with the agreement to provide value for local authorities. So hopefully this just gives you a snapshot of the numbers. So we're now over 9.5 million transactions per year, 600 parking locations that are connected. And so this slide says 10 live parking operators, but I'm very pleased to announce that this is now 11 with Tower Hamlets coming on board. So their participation, I believe, is a strong endorsement of the direction of MPP and a signal to others about the future that we're building. These numbers really reflect the platform's growth and reach across the UK already, and we expect this to continue increasing. So this slide just gives you a snapshot of the onboarding journey. I won't go into any detail on this one, but suffice to say that there's already a tried and tested onboarding process for new members, as well as support and resources available to help organisations join and integrate with MPP. So finally, please do get in touch and become part of the MPP's future. Please sign up to the mailing list, follow the MPP on LinkedIn. We encourage all local authorities to take up support from the DfT and the MPP to roll out the platform. Thanks very much for listening, and of course, thank you to the MPP, for which we're of course so grateful. Thank you.